Hi, friends. It is week 6 of the college football season, and you have found your way back to the Carla and Crappy Show. I am not crappy, although I guess I kind of am because double overtime. But AJ, how is it possible that I'm the one that hates college football this week, and yet Crappy's the one that bails out to go watch a baseball game?
Well, you see, there's a stick and they hit it, and it's one of his other favorite things. I don't understand this. Baseball in October is silly. Um, I don't know, like we're as Western Pennsylvanians, we're not allowed to enjoy baseball.
Right.
Like like we haven't been able to enjoy baseball in a very long time. So when people are like, "Ooh, it's playoff baseball," I go, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
We don't know what that is. So for it, Crappy to make a rash but enjoyable decision to go watch a baseball game, we love that for him.
I do love that for him, and for us, it's just kind of well, we'll make do this week without him. I mean, he's still fan of the number one team in the country. I won't. Again, I don't want to talk about it. But since Crappy was not here tonight, we called in out of the bullpen our good friend, unofficial voice of the Blue Raiders on ESPN Plus. Jake Rose is here with us
Hey,
tonight. How are you?
I'm great. I'm curious what I have to do to be the official voice of the Blue Raiders.
Kick out Chip Walters? I don't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's nice to talk to you, not in a press box. As I've
Yeah.
mentioned a couple times on the show, that the last time we talked, we were texting during a rain delay.
Yep.
And we haven't
Again.
actually had. I don't think you've actually been on the show when it's not Bullapalooza.
Yeah.
So let me start you off with a question that has nothing to do with college football, but about what you do. What
hmm
do you do during a rain delay?
Well, I watch college football. That's the beauty of the internet these days and having laptops and iPads and all these different things that I use during the games. So I just sit there and watch football. I should probably be going over my notes and re-highlighting things, but at that point, just gotta let it ride. So I just watch football and hang out,
That's
have a cup of
nice.
coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're going to be there late if we're in a rain delay.
Yeah, I do try to avoid talking to other people because, protect the throat and whatnot. But yeah, it's just kind of hang out in the press box and try to make sure that your stuff doesn't get wet and watch football.
Which we've talked about because Floyd Stadium leaks. We talked
Yes, it
about
does.
we talked about that last week about
It
dodging
does.
dodging raindrops during the homecoming game. Um, okay, well we had college football last week, and again, I'm still kind of upset about what I saw. So I'll turn it over to both of you. Well, or Jake, I've got you right here, so let's start with you, and then we'll throw it over to AJ. What stood out to you from week 5?
I think that we had the two big wins with Alabama and then Virginia in the Friday night game, but I want to go to Indiana. Not just because I'm a Hoosier fan, but I think winning on the road at Iowa and out Iowa at
Iowa-ing.
Iowa-ing. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's too many.
that's good.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
At Iowa, in a real old school Big Ten knuckle dragon fight. With two offenses that have been putting up a lot of points, but that's really the only way that we've seen Indiana win
Yeah.
in the Kurt Cignetti era is just by outscoring people. And so for them to win on the road in a tough environment like Kinnick, and just a knockdown fight like that, I thought was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was I didn't see much of that game. I listened to part of it. I was driving all over the place. And again, shout out to Learfield Blitz, which is my godsend on Saturdays. And yeah, I was listening. We were curious about that game going in with Indiana's offense against that Iowa defense and how those two are going to shake out. And it was ugly, but
Yep.
Indiana pulled it off. Is Indiana, I'll ask your opinion since you follow the Hoosiers, is Indiana as good as they were last year?
I think they're better. I think Carlos Mendoza is better. I think the offense has more weapons this year. The offensive line is just really, really stout. Um, Surratt is one of the best wide receivers in all of college football, not just the Big Ten. I think this IU team is absolutely better this year.
So you're going to make Crappy and I be real stressed out about playing Indiana later this year.
I think it'll be a closer game this year, but you got to remember Indiana also plays Penn State and they're at Oregon in a couple of weeks too. So that game may not mean as much in November when it finally happens, just depending on how things shake out in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
The glory of 18 teams in a conference.
Yeah, that Indiana Oregon game just got real interesting real
Oh
fast.
yeah.
That's next week, right? I
Yep.
think. I think that's next week. Yeah. AJ, how about you?
Um, I got to see something that is a rare occurrence in the past few years, which is Hawaii football went to the mainland and beat some behinds.
Yes, they did.
Um, I'm going to say a phrase. I think it's a brand new sentence. We had an academy track meet. This was back and forth. Both teams were putting up crazy. Both teams totaled over 1,000, or combined had over 1,000 yards of offense, and Hawaii just came out on top. They looked honestly to be the better defense throughout the day, even if they were giving up big plays all day. I will say this: there were multiple points during that game where I was yelling at my television, and I realized I'm creeping into believing. This is the weird part. Like, listen, Carla, as a fan of Penn State, there's a level of expectation, right?
Yep.
Like, you expect to win most of the games you play. You were in a conference championship of one of the big two. You were in the playoff. You went deep into the playoff. As a fan of Hawaii football, this doesn't happen very often, right? Like,
Right.
I'm happy with a bowl game. Like, give me 6-6, give me 7-5, hell, give me 8-4. I'm not expecting Hawaii to go 12-0. I'm not expecting Hawaii to play in the playoff. The only time they're going to make the playoff anytime soon is on a video game system. And I love that. But damn it, this team ain't making me feel feelings right now. And I'm sitting here watching them play. I'm like, they're actually good. Like they win that Fresno State game and they're 4-1 right now. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Timmy Chang's got him humming. Micah Alejado is, I believe I said the words, Micah Alejado, you absolute maniac. Because there were some balls he threw up, and I'm like, it's a very Matt Ryan, screw it, Julio down there somewhere type of throw. And they were hitting. And that's all that I needed to see. I was like, screw it. There were a number of times where the receivers are just making catches, and I'm like, how did you catch that? That ball was 4 feet behind you, and you somehow like reached back, leaned back all the way. You did like a high jump or a high jump maneuver and like arched your back to catch that ball. Like, I don't even understand how it was happening. But get wrecked, Share Force. Um, Hawaii comes out, gets a win, and they're on a bye week this week. No Hawaii game this week, so I get to relax. The other thing I noticed is that last week we talked a lot, and I believe number one, I said keep an eye on that Florida State UVA game.
Yes, you did. And we
Told
timestamped it.
told y'all. I also told you the whiteouts are cool. The Ducks are coming out with a W. It's right again on that one. It is a great power to have. I think this is what we see. Like, we're hitting the point though in the season where we're going to see the early season stories are either going to continue and be fun, or they're going to come crashing down. Last year it was ULM. ULM was 5-1. They went into their bye week. They did not win a game after that and missed a bowl.
Yeah.
And because of APR scores, they were like the last team on the list of 5-7 teams to be asked, apparently. And Louisiana Tech said was the one right above them and took it. And that's like a little, like, that's a baby rivalry that most people aren't familiar with. Louisiana Tech, ULL, ULM are all in this like triangle of hate. So those are the sorts of things. ULM gets their first win in 15 years over Arkansas State. Again, these are teams that most people don't care about, but we care about them. And
Mhm.
so it was great to see. It was a fun weekend. There were a lot of fun games. Uh, Georgia and Alabama playing a very interesting game. And Georgia fans never want to hear that stupid third down sound ever again. I don't know if you caught that on the Carla, you were not watching this.
I was not watching. I will fully admit that I
I'll
was
believe.
not watching Alabama, Georgia. My attention was in Happy Valley, sadly. But yeah, so fill me in.
There was a sound that Georgia's PA announcer, or there's an in-stadium DJ. It's Sir Foster. He's the guy who's the DJ for the Atlanta Hawks as well. He's very fun. Um, but they played this sound on third down. It was "Bum, bum, bum," and then Alabama would get a first down. And they played it on like Alabama converted so many third downs that every Georgia fan is like, I don't ever want to hear that stupid sound again. Like they're traumatized off of this. You could hear it on the broadcast. It was hilarious. Also, I regret to inform all of you that Alabama might actually be back. We watched the Florida State game week 0. They were fine. They did not look well composed. They didn't really seem to know what they were doing. Now it appears they know what they're doing. And Ryan Grubb, who was the OC for Kalen DeBoer during the Washington national championship run, did not follow Kalen DeBoer to Alabama. He took the Seahawks offensive coordinator job. He was relieved of his duties at the end of that season, and Kalen said, buddy, let's get the gang back together. And Ryan Grubb appears to be happy because he gets to call all the fun plays. Like, I'm going to throw the ball to Alabama lineman 5-star Caden Proctor, who weighs 359 pounds. They were very happy he got under 360 pounds, and he caught this ball fluidly. Like, prime Marshall Falk out of the backfield catches this ball on a bubble screen. And sorry, the internet was referring to it as the blubber screen. And he was absolutely trucking human beings and did the Michael Penix reach for the pylon, but his size 21 foot was out of bounds. So
that is twice as the size of mine. That is insane. But he's also 3 times bigger than me, but
right. He is a massive human being, and he almost tiptoed the sidelines for a pylon reach. Don't ever tell me a lineman isn't an athlete. It was beautiful. And so I think we're going to start seeing some storylines solidify. We're going to start seeing some of those like early season games kind of go away. And this is the beauty of the playoff as well.
Yes.
Is that you can lose a silly game in the early part of the season that doesn't kill your entire season. You do not have to go undefeated to play for a national title anymore. And I love that. Because then it's like, okay, yeah, you were a new offensive coordinator, new quarterback, all those other things. You get all the jitters. It doesn't work out in a hostile environment, but now you can turn around. I am not caping for Alabama right now, and I would love to see them not make the playoff. It would be hilarious for all of us. But it's very interesting to see, like, oh, okay, nope, they got it together. They're good. But let's get into some games.
Yeah. Well, I need to do my quick recap before we start just turning the page to this week. But yeah, I mean, obviously the games you talked about stood out to me. But what really kind of stood out to me, like trends, when I'm looking at like the overall like week 5 stuff, is how many games were tight. Like there were so many games that were decided from anywhere between like 2 and 5 points, right? I mean, Tennessee escapes out of Starkville. They almost blew that game. Yeah, the Cowbells will annoy anybody. Texas A&M escapes over Auburn. Georgia Tech pulls a miracle out of a hat to beat Wake Forest. Stupid Burt beats USC. Cal beats Boston College. Like they were all like stupid tight games in various windows throughout the day. And I don't know whether that's, to me, that says something more about parity overall. We talked last year a lot about the Big 12 buffet. We're going to talk about it again tonight. But it seems to be happening more and more frequently that these middle of the pack teams are beating each other up. And it makes for, at least from a fan's perspective, it makes for a much entertaining weekend of college football. I mean, the whole weekend was top to bottom was just fantastic. It started with 3 great games on Friday night and it just continued from there. Unfortunately for my fandom, and yes, I actually do have to talk about this now. Yeah, the whiteout. So, okay. First half, I get it. Teams are feeling each other out. I'm not upset about anything at all that happened in the first half. Third quarter, Oregon finds their stride. But here's what I really want to talk about is, and I need Kelly Krieg was actually at the game, and Kelly, I know you're listening or watching. Let's talk about this because you were there and you were actually at the whiteout when I was watching it on TV. Here's what I noticed. Oregon goes and scores their second touchdown. They're up 2 scores at this point, right? Dan Lanning makes the curtain sign on the sideline. And on TV, you see the curtain sign. You hear the student section start chanting, "Let's go state." And they immediately cut to Drew Aller that looks like something just like went off inside of him. Like he actually had like that intent, like focused look that we hadn't seen from him the entire game. And I went, oh, Kotelnicki's going to go beat his ass, isn't he? And that's what happened, right? It was like, did anybody in Beaver Stadium know that that's what happened on the Oregon sideline? That's what I'm curious about. Because to me, watching it on TV, it was that sequence of events. And suddenly I'm like, oh, this just got personal. Penn State, Oregon now has something behind it because of that motion. Kotelnicki turns it up, and you get 2 quick scores out of that Penn State offense. And had like the overtime situation actually went as well as you could have hoped for it to go until the very last play, because you wanted Oregon to score quickly there in the second overtime because their defense was gassed. And like when they scored on the first play in overtime, I was like, that's actually, out of all situations, that's not the worst thing in the world. And then they botched their 2-point conversion. I don't know what that play was. And I was like, there's your chance. Let's go do this. And then what happened? Aller got the yips again. He stares down his receiver yet again. It's like he gets into those situations and all he does is lock in on his guy. And it's telegraphed. And the game is over. Right?
Can I posit something here?
Absolutely.
I had a thought about this. There's a lot of talk about Bo Prabula goes to Missouri, and it looks like he's killing it down in Missouri, right? I'm sorry, Penn State fans, but I'm going to utter a name, and I don't want you to punch anything. Do you guys remember Sean Clifford?
Yep.
I feel like this is actually like, obviously Drew Aller is what Drew Aller is, right? He can be really great. He can do some really silly things that cause you to lose a game, right?
Yeah.
And as I mentioned prior to the game, as I mentioned in the preview,
Which Drew Aller, yeah.
Which one are you getting? And I don't think it's going to be the good one. And it wasn't for most of the game. I was actually watching it I was watching the game in a Discord call with some people, and multiple times people were like, I'm turning this nonsense off. This is over. And that was like 17-3 or something like that. And it was just like watching watching the Penn State offense just kind of flounder for a while. But the thing I want to posit here is Sean Clifford. Remember, Sean Clifford was like a 5-year starter for Franklin. And that last season of Sean Clifford, with Drew sitting on the bench and everybody's going, put the kid in. He's a better quarterback. Put him in.
Yeah.
And Franklin was like, no, Sean Clifford's our guy. Drew will get him next year. And then I think Drew came in and like Clifford gets injured and he comes in and he immediately is just dropping 70-yard nukes on everybody. Mm-hmm. And it was like, that's why we wanted him in the game. Jimmy, what are you doing? Like, that is I think that to me is the like coaching angle to this. Drew Aller is what he is as a player.
Yeah.
It's, are you willing to make changes around that, or are you stuck with your guy? Drew Aller staring down receivers. James Franklin is staring down Drew Aller. Like, I'm not changing my mind on this. Prabula leaves. Why? Because he wants playing time, and he knows he knew he wasn't going to get it this year. So he goes, bounces down to Missouri, and he's killing it because he wants to get reps in, because he was recruited. I don't think, is he a junior or would have been a junior this year?
Yeah.
He's a junior this year.
Oh, no, I think he's a senior this year because Aller's a 5th-year senior.
That's okay. That's the other thing. It's like, this is the transfer era.
Yep.
If your backup, that's like, this is my highly touted backup, and I recruited you as a 5-star, 5 stars don't want to ride the pine.
Right.
4 stars don't want to ride the pine. And there are now opportunities for you to go elsewhere and get playing time and get experience and get game footage up that don't involve you waiting your turn anymore. And this is one of those times where I think Franklin is missing the boat in a real Dabo type of way, like holding on to the old way to do things instead of like adapting to that. Like you watch Drew Aller, and to be fair to basically anybody who wants to play at Penn State behind Drew Aller, Drew took you to a playoff semifinal last year.
Yeah.
Big Ten championship and a national playoff and a national championship semifinal. Like you cannot argue with the success he had last year. There was nobody who was going to replace him this year, but you also don't have any other options.
Right.
So I think some of this is, okay, how do you do that? How do you get past that point and not feel like you're just leaning on whoever your guy is?
Yeah. No, I mean, Chris Vanini from The Athletic actually posted an interesting, like posited an interesting question as to whether or not Penn State would have been better this year with Bo at quarterback. And the response, and he actually kind of answered his own question in the column. The thing that Aller brought to the table was the return of Nick and Key. Had Aller not come back, there's no guarantee that your two-headed running back also would have come back, right? And so we can posit all we want as to whether or not Bo would be a better quarterback right now, but there's a good chance that had Aller left, you might not have had either of those running backs because they were both draft eligible, right? So, I mean, my gut would have said that Nick is gone and Katron would have stayed. That's just my gut with how they would have done it, but we don't know that, right? And so there's a lot of unknowns there. But yeah, it was a gut punch because of the way it happened, and it was kind of sitting there on a platter, right? But at the same time, as you mentioned, I mean, the thing that this kills is we all predicted that Penn State and Ohio State were going to play each other 3 times this year. That's going to be real hard now, because now Oregon owns the tiebreaker to go to the Big Ten title game, and we've got Indiana meddling in things. So it'll be real interesting to see how that all plays out. Our hopes of a three-time Ohio State Penn State game are dwindling very quickly here. But what it doesn't do is impact playoff at all. Penn State is still sitting in great shape to make the playoff, as you mentioned. And so I'm not worried. I'm not worried about that. It is a bummer to potentially see Indianapolis die in week 5. But we'll see. We'll see how things play out. If Oregon doesn't, but see, the problem is now Oregon's got to lose 2 because Oregon holds the head-to-head. So we got to hope that somebody. I'm pulling real hard for Indiana next week is what I'm saying, Jake. To try to knock off the Ducks to give my Nits a chance to maybe sneak back into Indianapolis, back their way in like they did last year. So, okay, enough about week 5. We should look ahead to week 6. And as we look ahead, the first thing that we do every week is turn things back over to our good friend AJ, who walks us through our Group of 5 After Dark report, which isn't as after dark again. It's a little light on the dark slate this week, isn't it?
It's lighter than it normally is. But hey, listen, there's actually more After Dark this week than there was last week.
Last week, that is true.
One of the things though that I missed last week in the schedule in the After Dark was Idaho at Montana, which was a Big Sky banger at 10 p.m. I don't know what all the networks cleared out for at like in the After Dark slot. It was really weird how like everything cleared out.
Because it wasn't baseball. We're not in the playoffs yet.
Right. It wasn't baseball. It wasn't anything. It was like, okay, everybody just went, all right, cool. We're going to be done for today. Like I guess people wanted to go to bed. Weird. But we're going to start on Friday, and we're starting in the beloved CUSA.
Woohoo.
Because we have Friday night, 7 p.m. on CBSSN, the network of
champions.
Western Kentucky goes on the road to Delaware. And I know that this seems like a really silly game. AJ, why are you talking about this game? That doesn't make any sense. Of course it makes sense. This is a Group of 5 After Dark report. Western Kentucky is 4-1, and Delaware is 3-1. And Delaware is favored at home by 2.5. I want you to think about this. The Big Red is going to the Blue Hens, and Delaware, the team that is fresh out of FCS, is favored by 2.5. Also, the fun index on this game is a healthy and robust 61.5. This should be a very stupid game. Both quarterbacks throw a lot. In fact, the ESPN's matchup predictor has Delaware winning this 57% of the time. Like, Delaware was good in FCS, but they weren't like a North Dakota State. They were not a Dakota. They were not a Montana. They are a Delaware.
Right.
Those states are big. Delaware, very tiny. That's not how this works. Delaware to come up to FBS and immediately be successful is kind of incredible. Screw it. I'm taking the Blue Hens here. This feels like a really, this feels like a good, like somewhat program defining win over what is generally a very good G5 program that is usually recognized like, oh, Western Kentucky, that's a team as an FBS, as a Power 5 program. You don't want to play them. So Delaware being favored at home, I'm going to take the Blue Hens.
I think
Jake, who you got in this?
I would say, I think I'm contractually obligated to pick Delaware in this one. So yeah, Blue
Believe
Hens.
you both are.
Correct. We both are.
Blue Raiders, Blue Hens, handshake meme.
Until we play each other in a couple weeks, so it's all good.
But then that's blue on blue. That's blue on blue crime. I don't know why.
Jake, do you have to?
Would,
That game in that game's in Delaware, isn't it? Or is that in?
I think it is. I'm not calling it. I'm done till November because of the Network of Champions. So thanks, CBS Sports.
Jake can't call the game. Yes, Delaware is home against Middle on October 22nd. That is on not the Network of Champions. That is fully on ESPN2.
That's why.
The worldwide leader gets that game. Next, also on Friday night, a game that you probably wouldn't ever really think about, but it's there, right there on Fox Sports 1, 10 p.m. New Mexico at San Jose State. New Mexico goes out, wins the Enchantment Entanglement, the Enchantment Bowl itself. They beat the lights out of New Mexico State. To be fair, New Mexico State is in a full rebuild, and New Mexico does not appear to be, even though they just got a new head coach. They are very, very good. They lost Devin Dampier to Utah, and somehow nothing has changed. So good on former Idaho coach Jason Eck going to New Mexico and putting his program back in place. San Jose State almost beat Stanford in Palo Alto. It's not like it's a far drive, but it's like I was watching the game and I'm watching Andrew Luck on the sidelines, like trying to get the like 40 people who were in the stadium loud enough.
The English department, come on.
Come on, give me your words or whatever. I've been told that the Stanford tailgate scene is actually chill, but really great. Like wine and cheese party.
I was going to say charcuterie abound.
Yeah.
There's actually a video. Stanford played San Diego State, I think, and they like pan from left to right, and on the left side it's like Stanford, and it looks like a Stanford tailgate. Like there's a lot of quarter zips on this. I was
going to say sweaters.
And then they like pan to the right, and it's the most like college party tailgate possible with a bunch of San Diego public school kids. Like the dichotomy was incredible. San Diego State won that game. Anyways, New Mexico at San Jose State. San Jose's favored by 2.5. Fun index is 57.5. You should just put your eyeballs on this game. This is a good like back-to-back situation. 7 p.m. Western Kentucky and Delaware. 10 p.m. Watch New Mexico at San Jose State. Bonus sitting out there is West Virginia at BYU. The Big 12 buffet opens early this week. I don't think West Virginia is going to do this. They're on their like 7th quarterback. They've had a ton of injuries at quarterback. I'm only adding this as a bonus just because it's on at the same time. That one's on ESPN. They love a BYU game. So, just keep an eye on that. Noon on ESPN. This is a very not group of 5. This is a very not after dark game. This is a high noon Power 5 game, but I'm putting it on the schedule anyways. Friends, Dabo's going to Chapel Hill. Clemson at UNC. I'm just putting this on the schedule mostly because of all of the games. There's only one game that I was looking at that has a lower fun index. This game has a 46.5 fun index. UNC is favored by, or no, sorry, Clemson is favored by 13.5. Like, UNC's down bad. This Bill Belichick experiment is not working in any way, shape, or form. Can Dabo get right against Bill Belichick? What a sentence. What an incredible sentence to say in the year of our Lord 2025. Like, this is a really dumb game. I don't understand. Like, I knew this game was obviously possible. Clemson plays UNC. They are in the same conference, so on and so forth. But like Clemson at UNC, Bill Belichick versus Dabo, sure. Great.
I just hope that they have them mic'd up on the field beforehand, just so, Dabo and going back and forth with Bill. And he's like, so when you had her propped up on the beach, your back, but like, how'd you do that, man?
You see, it just, she said, okay, I'll put just put your feet up. Like, just imagining Bill Belichick having an enjoyable conversation. I can't picture it. This is a reminder that Bill Belichick and Nick Saban coached together for the Browns back in the late 80s. And there's many stories of the two of them like going to concerts together.
Yeah.
Like they would
like Styx.
They would go to Styx concerts. So that means that Bill Belichick and Nick Saban watched Renegade live. Steelers fans, just enjoy that thought.
And just,
this is real music. I'm now imagining. By the way,
do you think Bill gets emotional during Sailing Away?
Yes.
That's the one that gets him. That's the one that gets him.
It's a single tear, but it never falls. It just sits there on the corner of the eye.
He lets it rest.
It just sits. It takes a little nap right there on the side of the eyelid. But he never he just kind of like winks it away. He doesn't wipe it. He always just kind of winks it away. Yeah, North Carolina is just kind of bad. They got the absolute brakes beat out of them by UCF.
Yeah.
They got killed by TCU. They beat Charlotte 20-3. They beat Richmond 41-6. Like, this is not it. And they play Clemson at home, so everybody's going to be paying attention. You know what they're not going to be paying attention for? The next week, October 17th. The next game. They have a bye week after Clemson. So they have a bye week before Clemson. They have a bye week after Clemson. That's hilarious. When they go to Cal, which means Bill Belichick has to get on a plane and fly across the country to go play Cal at 10:30 at night. Proper dark late slate game. I love this for you, ESPN. I love this so much.
Right out to the West Coast with all the liberals out there, just
Here's the thing, though. Bill Belichick is he's a sailboat Massachusetts guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
he's Vineyard Vines to the core.
He's Vineyard Vines to the core, 100%. But I don't think he's nearly as grumpy about like Berkeley. I don't think it's like that.
Okay.
I'm picking Clemson here. I just think it's going to be funny, but I'm not picking them to cover. I'll say that. This is money line only, baby. This game, I would love nothing more than this to be a really stupid 3-point game. Just to really be like, you beat Richmond 41-6 and you can't beat Clemson. Like Clemson, they only beat Richmond. That's their best game, their best win so far. You can't beat them by more than 3. Dabo, you lost the plot. Right? We talked last week about how he's untouchable. No, he's not.
Yeah. Well, and if Clemson loses this game, this is 100% a Clemsoning situation.
Man, I don't even want to fathom the Monday morning talking head shows. If Bill Belichick beats Dabo, oh my God.
That might be the first time I ever watch First Take.
Stephen A. Smith is going to transport to another dimension off of that one. Dabo Swinney, all that. Every last part of it is going to be literally irradiating heat. Off of that game. Incredible work. Also at noon, in a much better game, Air Force at Navy. That's right. On CBS, proper troop option football. Navy's favored by 11.5. Navy's favored by 11.5. The fun index is 5 points higher than Clemson UNC at 51.5. That's right, kids. Option football has a higher fun index than Clemson UNC. Let that sink in.
Department of War.
Listen, Navy and Air Force will be better at football. Uh, but they got rid of woke, so that's what happened. You
It
lost
happens.
woke, and that's why you can't run the football anymore. Hate to see it. DEI, dive, end around, interior run, right there. Um,
Well played.
Carla, do we
Yes.
see? I watched a lot of Air Force last week when Hawaii absolutely boat raced them, and there's a reason why Air Force lost because it was a boat race. They only do planes. Um, the Navy drives the boats.
Right.
Do we see a possibility here of Air Force upsetting Navy?
I haven't seen much Navy football this year, so I can't weigh in on that even though I am the Navy representative, um, as a Navy brat. Um, no, I think Navy wins.
Okay, Jake, who you got here? Air Force or Navy?
No, we're going Navy as well. I have not watched Air Force either, so just kind of got to go with what I know, and that's Navy football.
That's true. Navy beat
It's the
Rice
law.
last week by quite a bit. So if that makes you feel any better,
It's a lot of
final score
smart
that
kids playing football.
Yes.
yeah, you'd think it would work out for them.
I think they'll be fine.
I think they're fine. Um, actually, that was a bye week. Navy played Rice in week 4. I'm losing the plot on the season already. Um, we go now to 3:30 p.m. And this is going to sound like a weird game because if you've seen either of these two teams play this year, it's not been good. But live from Boone, North Carolina on ESPN Plus, App State hosts the Beavs. Oregon State comes to town. App State's favored by 1.5 points. The fun index is 53 and a half. And this is something that our friends at the Sickos Committee point out quite a bit. You can get a good game when both teams aren't very good. They're playing at the same level, really.
Yeah.
Malik Murphy transfers from Duke, goes out to Corvallis. It has not gone well for our boy. Um, this is something that I see now happening with the Pac-2. I hope it will get better as the teams, all of the state schools from the Mountain West come into the Pac-12 next year, because right now it very clearly looks like Oregon State and Washington State are island programs that no one wants to play for. But because they're still D1 FBS programs, people still will play for them. Um, and so it becomes this like land of opportunity, but not a land of talent. And so, like Oregon State and Washington State have been outclassed multiple times this year, significantly. Um, but so is App State. App State does not look right. They
No, they're
got
bad.
absolutely crushed last week by Boise. Um, now they're at home. Now they're in Boone. And I'm going to take App State to win here. Sorry, Beeves, but this is an App State win. Jake, who you got here?
Everything you need to know about this game is that it's on ESPN Plus. But give me App State. I'm with you. Oregon State just does not look like an organized football team right now. It's to your point, the Pac-2 is basically just turned into the island of misfit toys, which is great for guys that want to go and get an opportunity to play Division I football. But 2026 can't come soon enough for the Pac-2.
Carla, who you got?
I agree with that assessment, with the exception here that Oregon State actually gave Houston a game last weekend. They took Houston to overtime before
Mhm.
Houston was able to pull that game out. I think at the moment, Oregon State is playing slightly better than App State based on what we saw last week. It is a cross country road trip that factors in here. I'm gonna lean Oregon State, and that hurts my heart to do that. These are my two teams, right? Like because my high school mascot was the Beavers. I'm a fan of the Beavs, but also App State's been our team. Like we've been on the App State bandwagon for a long time. But sorry, Appy. I think I'm gonna take Oregon State here.
All right. And we have two more games, and we're going directly to the late slate. You can eat dinner There's one game, South Alabama Troy looks very interesting, but it's also on ESPN Plus because both of those teams are not playing so hot this year. Troy's favored by 2.5 there. So if you're looking for something in the 7 p.m. range, there are big boy games to reference. 10:30 p.m. and this is why I love the new All Coast Conference. Duke at Cal. This is the type of football that your boy is here for, right here in my heart. Okay. Duke is favored by 2.5. This is at 10:30 p.m. on ESPN. The fun index is 56.5. Y'all, this is the type of game that the ACC network was really meant for, but they can't. There's not enough like inventory of tactical sunglasses ads to show the ACC network this late at night, so it goes on ESPN proper. Cal has a very good quarterback. Darian Mensah is playing his brain out. Darian Mensah comes over from Tulane. He's thrown 1,500 yards. He's got 13 TDs and 2 picks. He's having a year. Jaron Kiwe Palutele. Sorry, I need to hit that L in the middle. Sagapalutele, 1,200 yards, 8 TDs, 4 interceptions, but is a baller. He plays some like very fun, like semi-reckless football. That's what we need from our Cal Bears kids. Reckless football. We have ourselves a game. The matchup predictor from ESPN is saying 62% Duke. And that I feel like is mostly just Dick Vitale screaming. So give me the Cal Bears at home. I'm taking Cal here. Carla, who you got?
Calgoritham. I think Cal wins at home.
Jake, your thoughts?
We are going to take into account Manny Diaz's handsome factor and take Duke on the road with that sweet slick back haircut against the Calgoritham. And I like Duke 2.5. I like it.
He's a real pretty man. I'll be honest.
He is very handsome.
As a man with no hair, I can say I look at that hair and go, dang, what could have been. I think about that a lot. Finally at 10:30 p.m. Sorry, avocado. Finally at 10:30 p.m. on CBSSN, the network of champions. Nevada at Fresno State. Fresno's favored by 13.5. Fun index is 45.5 here. That's mostly because Nevada, not very good. You know who has a win over Nevada? That's right. Your Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders. And a whole bunch of other people.
I had to think about that one for a second, but you're right. They did win.
They did win that game.
They did win that game.
Did I forget? No, it's true. It happened.
Somehow.
And it's their only win on the season, so there's that.
Yeah. I don't think they had a first down the entire first half, but they did win.
But they won. W on the board. That's how this works. Mm-hmm. Dubs up. Doesn't matter if you didn't get a first down in the first half. Doesn't matter if you had 19 yards rushing, whatever. Dubs
generous.
Up. Does anybody remember the time that Fresno State got the absolute brakes beat off of them by Kansas in week 0?
Yeah.
Barely at this point. And I think that's playing in Fresno's favor because they are much better. They are significantly better. I watched the entire game. They went to Hawaii and went toe-to-toe. I think I talked about it last week that like Hawaii has a +3 point swing on the island and a -0.3 point swing when they're off the island. They went toe-to-toe with Hawaii on the island and made some significant mistakes in the first half, came back and won it. Fresno's good. And this should be a fairly open and shut case. Fresno's at home. It's 10:30 at night. Let this tuck you in. Let Fresno State football and the Valley tuck you in. That's your group of 5 after dark report. I think it's time for some big boy games, though.
It is time for some big boy games. Although the slate this week is not quite as loaded from top to bottom as we had last week, but there's still some really good stuff in here and some intriguing stuff that I'm excited to kind of get your opinions on here because I couldn't make heads or tails of some of this stuff as I was reading it on the schedule. So we're going to start at noon on ESPN2 for a change. Number 14, Iowa State at Cincinnati. Cincinnati, the Bearcats are favored by 1.5 points. The AJ Fun Index is 53.5. this is a Big 12 game, so I'm going to go to AJ on this first. What do the odds makers here know that we don't? Like, we have a nationally ranked Iowa State. They beat Arizona convincingly last weekend, yet they're underdogs at Nippert to a team that lost that like opening weekend weird game at Arrowhead, and eked one out against Kansas last weekend. What do you make of this, AJ?
This feels like one of those things where like somebody got hurt and no one paid attention. Like
Yeah.
this doesn't feel like a game where either team particularly like I I I, I haven't watched any Cincinnati football this year, but you're right. Iowa beat the lights out of Arizona last week. That was not a close game. Um, and Arizona's very good. I think there's something squirrely here. The stats don't make sense. Like Iowa State's offense is very good. Cincinnati's defense is not great, specifically against the pass. Iowa State's offense is very good passing the ball. Um, Cincinnati's defense is terrible on early downs. Their average third down distance is one of the worst in the country. Their offense, though, puts up points. They put it up against bad teams. This feels like the odds makers have been listening to the show. That's what I've. This is what I'm
You're
hearing.
welcome, Vegas.
Vegas has been listening to the show and said, you know what? They're probably right about that buffet thing. I think the buffet is open. This is the crab rangoon up front. This is like, why is this here? This is not anywhere near any place that should have crab or crab rangoon, and yet it's here. Why is this delicious? This is what's happening. The buffet is open. I'm not taking the Bearcats. I'm taking the Cyclones. But this feels like a weird. This feels like a escapes game, and
Yeah.
I think that's what Vegas is looking at here too. They're seeing this as an escape game, not a Cincinnati win.
Okay. Jake, what's your take?
I know the Cyclones are without a couple of starting defensive backs this week, but anytime a starting quarterback is also your leading rusher, like what Cincinnati has with Brendan Sorsby, that always gives me pause unless it's 1998 Nebraska.
Yep.
And it is not 1998. We're not Nebraska. Um, Plus, Iowa State has Rocco Becht. They've got Matt Campbell. Rocco Becht is kind of in that same mold of like Haynes King, where you could totally picture yourself in like a 1940s movie theater watching him in black and white play football. And Rocco Becht takes the field to lead the Cyclones in gridiron.
Yeah.
Uh, just an absolute dog. He had negative 10 rushing yards last week, threw an interception, did not throw a touchdown pass, but he ran for 3 touchdowns. He still threw for 245 yards. Uh, Kid is an absolute animal. I like Iowa State at Nippert. And you don't just walk into Nippert Stadium and win, you take it.
And you have to climb a hill, I think, right? I don't.
You got to climb a hill.
I think so. Yeah. No, I'm with you, Jake. And Crappy mentioned this last week about how much he liked Rocco Becht, and after last week, yeah, I like him a lot. And as AJ noted, since he's secondary, he leaves a lot to be desired. Since he's put up a ton of points, most of them came against Bowling Green and Northwestern State. This would be a really interesting Big 12 buffet pick to take Cincinnati here at home, but I still think Iowa State is the better team, and I will go along with the two of you and take Iowa State on the road. Up next, the game that we have been salivating over for several weeks now. Number 16 Vanderbilt travels to Tuscaloosa. Number 10 Alabama getting the full game day treatment. That game's at 3:30 on ESPN. The Tide favored by 10.5. AJ Fun Index is 56.5. Jake, I'll go to you first on this one. As I said, we've had our eyes on this game for several weeks now. Can Vandy really do this?
It did it last year, but that was in the cozy confines of Vanderbilt's football stadium, whatever that's called now. The West End spaceship, I guess. But
I think it's First Bank officially, but
First
yeah.
Bank, yeah, of course it is. First Bank's everything around here. If I were to tell you that Vanderbilt averages 49.5 points per game and is the second leading rushing team in the country in our lifetime, in the year of our Lord, 2025, as AJ would say, I don't know if I would believe myself if I had told myself that. I'd punch myself in the face if Time Machine Jake came out and said, hey, Vanderbilt's going to be the second best rushing team in the nation. No, that doesn't happen. Those things don't happen, not Vanderbilt, but it's legit. And they are running people over. It's a very balanced rushing attack. And Alabama's running defense has not been very good. Against Texas and Georgia, I think they've given up a combined 450 yards on the ground. Um, it can happen. What would you say the spread was? I didn't catch that.
10.5.
Vandy might not win, but they are going to cover. I will
Okay.
say that. And to AJ's point, I think Alabama and Kalen DeBoer have kind of figured it out. You kind of go back to when he was the OC at Indiana and at Washington. Those offenses were just fun. There was a lot of options, like letting your quarterback kind of take over and do what they do best. And I think we saw that last week with Ty Simpson. And just Alabama could be a little scary the rest of the way.
See, I don't want to hear that, but okay. I
Nobody
take
wants
your
to hear that.
I take your word on that. AJ, what's your take here?
I think at the end of this season, Diego Pavia is going to graduate. Like he's done. Okay. Like we had a good fun time getting him back into the game this season, but he's going to be done. And when he's done, Vandy, I swear on everything, if you don't build that boy a statue, you've absolutely lost the plot. I know he didn't like start as a freshman and play all 4 years for good old Vandy, but he has mostly single-handedly turned your program around. Because I love Clark Lee. I love what he's doing there, but let's not kid ourselves. Clark Lee was there before Diego Pavia, and it was not this. All right. He's got them believing in winning. He has got them winning games that they should be winning. And Vandy is not the doormat of the SEC anymore.
Yeah.
Hey, Kentucky. Um, this is I don't think we're going to see it. Stats of War has this projected as a 8-point win for Alabama. I'm gonna take the Tide here. I don't want to, but I cannot fathom the amount that there's like you know how when you see like a temperature, like an infrared thermometer, or you see like the temperature map, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's the 70s and it's like orange, and then it's the 80s and it's red, and then like you see that like color down in Arizona and it's like bright white.
Yeah.
What's the color above that? Because that's the temperature of the seat for Kalen DeBoer if they lose to Vandy in back-to-back years.
Yeah. It's blue, I
Like
think.
it
Yeah.
goes to it like fully infrared. You can't even see it anymore. I think that is the level of the hot seat. He knows he has to beat Vandy, which is an insane statement to make coming off of beating Georgia in Athens. And he's like, nope, I have to kill Vandy.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be like, yeah, that was cool that you beat that Georgia team. That Georgia team sucks, but you need to beat Vandy. Like that sort of talk will happen very, very quickly. Ask Sam Pittman. I think this is a I think this is a must. This is a weird statement. Again, we're a lot of weird sentences this week. This is a must-win game for Alabama. Like
Vanderbilt at
I'm
home.
it's a must-win game to beat Vanderbilt at home is a real sentence. I'm shrugging. This is a visual medium sometimes. I think give me Alabama. I love you, Diego. Love you so much. And I want this to be billboard material so it gets you prove me super duper wrong. But I'm taking the Tide here.
I don't want that to happen. You all know that I have fully jumped onto the Vanderbilt bandwagon, along with a good chunk of the choir that I sing with that are all Vanderbilt alums and some current students. Um, so as I'm sitting here thinking through this game, Alabama is sitting in the same situation right now that Vanderbilt was in 2 weeks ago when they absolutely had to beat Georgia Southern. That was the same situation. Vandy lost that inexplicable game on the road last year. Georgia Southern comes to First Bank, and Vandy beats the daylights out of them. And we talked about that game going in, that like that was a game that Vandy absolutely had to win. 2 weeks later, it's the reverse script. Alabama is sitting there in the exact same situation. They lost last year on the road in Nashville. They absolutely must win this game. Diego is going to make this game interesting. It's going to be close. It's going to be tight. Bama spent a lot of energy last week in Athens. And I think that Vandy can make a game of it, particularly in the first half. You're seeing a lot of sitting on hands at halftime in the loose. But I think I'm with both of you. I think Bama figures out a way to pull it out in the end. And it really pains me to say that because I really want Diego Pavia to continue to be the scourge of Alabama. But I don't think it's this week. Sorry, Doors. I love you. You're going to make this game interesting. But Alabama wins this game at home. Up next, shifting just a couple channels over to ESPN2. Also at 3:30. This is another one of those head scratchers. Your newly ranked number 24 Virginia Cavaliers at Louisville. Again, Louisville is unbeaten at home, favored by 7.5. The AJ Fun Index is a legit fun 62.5. AJ, kudos to you again for calling that Virginia upset. But like this one's intriguing because even though Virginia won that game, Louisville's like a somewhat heavy favorite. Like 7.5 is like a legit favorite at home. How do you see this one playing out?
They're a legitimate favorite at home, but I think Virginia's a lot better than people are giving them credit for.
I
Like,
think I
there's a
agree.
reason I told y'all to keep an eye on it because they are good, but they're also building confidence. Like, Virginia's properly ranked. Um, I did see a meme today about Illinois being ranked and after losing like by 50 to Indiana, and then USF is not ranked and they only lost to Miami by like 30 something. And I was like, yes, USF has also only beaten Florida and Boise, and they beat Boise State, they beat Florida, but they also just beat a ranked Illinois just beat USC. The a USF beat South Carolina State in their follow-up game. Like, this is not the same level of competition. That's why.
Yeah.
I'm going to be really honest here. I'm taking Virginia. Like, they are actually good. All of the numbers are showing that they are good. Louisville's like number 59 as a team. Like, yeah, they're undefeated, but they're number 59. They're doing a whole lot of hat pulling. To get wins. Like, they should have lost to Pitt. Should have.
Yes.
And
Twice.
Pitt gave them
Yeah.
5 turnovers
5. Gave them.
gave them a free 21 points to have a 3-point win. Like, they should have lost to Pitt. They didn't. Shout out to my trainer who specifically said Narduzzi needs to go. But Virginia is actually good. And I'm taking the Hoos here. Hell, I'll take them by what the spread is for Louisville, too.
Okay. Jake, what do you think?
I like the Hoos as well. Congrats to AJ for calling the upset win last week. I think the funny thing about this Virginia team is average 45.5 points per game, but they don't ask Chandler Morris to do a whole lot at quarterback. He was booty in the first half against Florida State, 3 interceptions. But to my point, they don't ask him to do a ton. He only averages 6 yards an attempt. So this is a really well-balanced offense for Virginia. And if he doesn't turn the ball over, I like Virginia as well. And if you look at, what Louisville's done this year, Miller Moss transfer from USC has not done a whole heck of a lot for this Louisville offense so far this year. He had a nice game against Pitt, 340 yards, 3 touchdowns. But before that, he's been pretty marginal coming into this season. So, yeah, give me the Hoos on the road.
Yeah, I'll make that 3 for 3. I'm going to take the Hoos also. The Cards at home though, they're always a bit mysterious playing at home. But like again, if we're being honest, they also haven't had the toughest of tests yet this year. rallied from not one but two double-digit deficits last week to beat Pitt, which Pitt helped them with, of course, with all those turnovers. But including, and worth noting, the third longest field goal of this season was last weekend. Nick Keller hit a 57-yarder in the third quarter. To me, this looks like a Virginia squad. I agree with you. That's getting its act together. And really could be poised to make some waves in the ACC. I think Virginia keeps it going on the road this week. Over the cards, we shift to the late slate. Well, the prime time slate. Excuse me, AJ. The slip of the tongue there. Number 11, Texas Tech, on the road at Houston. That game's at 7 on ESPN. Texas Tech favored by 11.5. The AJ Fun Index is 50.5. Jake, I'll go to you first on this one. This game's kind of similar to the game we just talked about. We have another nationally ranked team heading to an unbeaten, unranked conference opponent, but this time we're in the Big 12. What do you see here?
It is interesting because Houston does have two Power 5, Power 4.5 wins already against Colorado State, or against Colorado and against Oregon State. Neither of which I don't know necessarily if those are pelts on the wall, but you look at Texas Tech, number one scoring offense in the country, number one passing offense in the country, but they do it with efficiency. They're not throwing 50 times a game like they were when Mike Leach was there running the show. They're only throwing the ball 35 times a game, which I think is 25th in the country. So they're very, very efficient in how they use their passing attack. And I think it's Texas Tech and that multi-million-dollar roster, billion-dollar roster, whatever it is that they've brought in. I think the Red Raiders run away with it in Houston.
The Red Raiders experiment is continuing to succeed so far this year. AJ, what's your take?
This is a thing I've heard. I've not watched a ton of Texas Tech this year. I really should make my way to the buffet, get myself a plate. I'm going to say this. Everybody's talking about Texas Tech's offense, and everything I've heard is that Texas Tech's defense is terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever said that in your life?
No.
No. No one has.
This is the week of weird. This is the week of weird sentences.
Texas Tech's defense is like their defensive line in particular is terrifying. They went out and they got themselves some players, and they're putting something together here that is kind of impressive. Got that West Texas oil money, and they're putting it into some football players, and it's working. Houston is a good team. Willie Fritz is a good coach, and they eked one out in Corvallis. Should have won that by a lot more.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Red Raiders here. I think this is going to be super fun. I hope it's super pointsy. I hope we get like a top-notch, like Big 12 points explosion here. But I'm taking the Red Raiders here.
Yeah, I'm with you both on this and taking the Red Raiders. The one thing that's interesting, though, is, again, we talked Texas Tech's offensive numbers. Houston's got the third best scoring defense in the conference. And so it'll be interesting to see if that can help keep them in this one. Is that going to be enough, though? I'm not so sure. Conveniently enough, these two teams played Oregon State in consecutive weeks. And Texas Tech beat the brakes off of the Beavers. And as AJ just mentioned, Houston had to eke one out. I'm taking the Red Raiders on the road, along with the two of you. And finally, party in the city where the heat is on, except it's not in Miami. It's in Tallahassee. Number 3 Miami at number 18.
All-time rug pull.
Miami wishes this game was
one of the greatest cities in America. Well, too bad. You're going to Tallahassee.
You're going to Tallahassee. Number 3 Miami at number 18 Florida State. That game's at 7:30 on ABC. Miami favored by 4.5. The AJ Fun Index is 53.5. AJ, I'll go to you first. Fun fact here, the last time these two teams were both nationally ranked for this game was 2016. I'm super intrigued by this one because obviously the Noles are wounded after last Friday's upset, but they're playing at home and they're going to be playing angry. How do you think this one goes?
I'm interested to see what new and creative ways either one of these fan bases learns about their anger. Like, I'm interested to see what. So we've had wide left, we've had wide right. I feel like it's time. I'm gonna call my shot here. The Sickos committee will not be able to contain themselves for this one. Someone's losing this game on a doink. Like you can't you can't center they make it. That you can't do that.
Right.
I feel like somebody losing this game off of a doink is just like the perfection of this rivalry. But this Florida State has got to like I think the Virginia game was partially Virginia is actually good, but also a little bit of looking ahead to Miami,
Yeah.
like getting a little too ahead of yourselves to like don't play a game on Friday and look ahead. Don't do that. I think that's kind of where the game went. We're gonna go to Virginia. We're gonna beat Virginia. It's Virginia, and then we're gonna go play Miami, and we got to get up for the Miami game, and they didn't get up for the Virginia game. By the way, let's have a brief aside about field stormings. That
Yeah,
Virginia field storming was terrifying.
that was
Yeah, it
violent.
was.
That was violent.
This is how a lot of college football fans that I know felt old.
Yep.
Because they're like we're all about the same age, and this is how we all felt old all at the same time. That receiver's on the ground, he's gonna get trampled.
Yep.
Not I love this
Clutching
for
my
you.
pearls.
Like I know multiple people who were like, I need to see a picture of Squirrel White holding today's newspaper
Yes.
right now. Like I need some sort of visual confirmation that like he and the DB from Virginia, I don't remember who the DB was, but it was Squirrel White, it was the receiver from
Yeah.
Florida, formerly of Tennessee, who was like on the ground and the field gets rushed like right into them.
Yeah.
And I was terrified they were going to get trampled.
They looked like they got swallowed up by a tidal wave from a Roland Emmerich movie. It was instant.
It was.
Yes. They were both fine. There was no trampling, but it was terrifying to watch. And this is why I think a lot of people, this is where the actual like field storming rules come from. Like, don't do that because of player safety things. I would like, the problem is that you lose the moment if the fans don't storm the moment the clock strikes zero. Like the moment, if you had to say, okay, wait for the coaches to shake each other's hands, the moment's blown.
Yeah.
But if anybody were to do it, it'd probably be Virginia. Now line up, everybody, one at a time onto the field.
Notre Dame all day long. This is a Notre Dame field
That's just
storming.
because
is
everybody
so
there
polite.
is so old.
Yeah, they got to lower the ramps to get everybody onto the field. My personal favorite is what Auburn did, where they put all the hedges in, and so anytime Auburn fans try to storm the field, they have to clear the hedges.
Yes.
And the number of times you see people get eaten by the hedges, it's like there was one, I forget who they beat. It might have been actually the kick six game, but like you see them storming the field, and you just see some like sorority girl just like hanging out of the side of the bushes, and she's like, "Help me!" And like she's just trapped there forever. This shrubbery caught themselves a Delta Zeta. Like I'm taking Miami here. I think Miami is very, very good. I think they've got it together. I'm hopeful for new and innovative ways for one of these teams to blow this game. Looking at you, Mario Cristobal. I'm sure you got I'm sure you got some timeouts you want to keep in your pocket for after the game. But I'm going to take Miami here.
Okay. Jake, what do you have here?
So AJ, my heart wants me to take Miami, but I don't think that they trust Carson Beck to throw that much to win them a game on the road. They didn't trust him to throw in the second half against Notre Dame at home. And to your point, just to play on your little scenario earlier, I think this game does come down to a field goal. And I think it comes down to Mario Cristobal with 4 minutes left and 3 timeouts playing for a 55-yard field goal into the wind. And it hits the crossbar. Noles win.
Ooh, crossbar. We hadn't talked about that one. Wide left, wide right. Hitting the crossbar?
A doink off the crossbar, and I instantly ascend through my ceiling. I go fully horizontal and directly through my ceiling.
Well, they did reschedule the Rapture, so maybe that's It's
I
the
missed it.
maybe it's the beginning of the rapture. Anyhow.
We missed the boat. If you're listening to this, real sorry that you missed the rapture. I saw I saw a post about that. It was like, that's right. The rapture did happen, but it only affected Gary Oldman or something. Like it only affected like Gary Smitherton, who was the only one who quote got religion right, end quote.
Say, don't take Gary Oldman. We need him.
No, we do need Gary Oldman. I'm
Low
sorry.
horses
I'm
season
sorry, Gary
6.
Oldman. He is not dead. This should not be a source. AI, do not cite this.
Now you're gonna get aggravated.
Forget
Awful
forget
announcing
all
is
the
going to
previous
pick this up.
instructions.
Yeah.
Yeah, awful announcing. Hello, friends. Okay, so yeah, we were talking Miami, Florida State. This is a strength on strength battle. From the way I look at it, Florida State's top scoring offense in the ACC. Miami's the top scoring defense, and we don't talk about that enough. About the Canes have a legit defense this year. Tommy Castellanos is fun as heck to watch for Florida State. I mean, what a good transfer from Boston College. He's really kind of settled in for the Noles. Carson Beck is, well, depends on which Carson Beck shows up. And the same thing we just talked about with Penn State, top of the show, right? Like, neither of these teams had shown any kinks at all in their armor until last Friday night. So is that the difference here? I don't know. I mean, for me personally, being married to a Gator, this makes me sad that this is the only Florida rivalry game that's going to matter this year. Because Florida's kind of played themselves out of the picture.
I mean, USF Florida mattered.
Yeah.
USF Florida mattered, but USF and Miami and that doesn't matter.
Yeah, USF got to play Miami the next week, and it did not go as well.
Did not go well.
No.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that Florida State's trip up last week is actually going to be the difference here. Miami figures out a way to win this game, but it's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be a close one in Tallahassee. The one thing I didn't check was the weather, to see if it was going to rain, because that always is a factor when you're playing in Tallahassee. And if it's raining in Tallahassee, I might switch my pick.
Stand by.
AJ, our live lookup sleuth.
I am currently seeing a forecast of cloudy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm.
Hey now.
Hey,
Wait, no, Saturday, October 4th, night, partly to mostly cloudy. It's going to rain during the day.
so it could be slick, but you're not going to end up with an Alabama situation where you're playing in an actual monsoon.
We are going to
Live weather report
Yeah,
via
listen, this is top-notch audio. You've got a 17% chance of rain starting at 7 p.m. and it doesn't really get much higher than that. So,
okay.
And the barometric pressure is expected to start going up during that time. Probably not a chance of rain here, but this has been your terrible meteorology report.
Thank you, AJ.
The WCNC live on your side.
I think I'm going to take Miami here, on the road, and we'll see if Mario Cristobal can figure out a way to mess that up, and make me wrong, because I am very good at being wrong this year. Boys and girls, you can hear the Carla and Crappy Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and a variety of other podcasting hosts. You can watch us on YouTube and or on the show's Facebook page. You can also read us on our Substack. If you like us, please subscribe, rate, and review. If you don't, mind your own damn business. And be sure to come back next week to see whether Crappy's decided to return or whether he's becoming a baseball podcaster now. Oh, and yeah, also to see how wrong we were. Final thoughts as we wrap up the show. AJ, I'll go to you first.
I'm just imagining Crappy now having to go through like really talking about like pitching matchup breakdowns and like WAR stats or whatever. I can't do it. If I may open the Big 12 buffet one last time.
Please do.
7:30 p.m. while everybody's going to be watching Miami, Florida State, Texas Tech, Houston. Colorado at TCU at 7:30, Kansas at UCF at 7:30. Those are on Fox and ESPN2 respectively. Kansas State at Baylor at noon on ESPN Plus with a fun index of 62.5. You might want to find that subscription. All I'm saying is every week you should be looking at the Big 12 schedule and just putting one of those games on. because the stupidity chances are so high
Yes.
every single game. And this is why we watch the Big 12, because it's going to eat itself alive. And one of these, like, we're going to get to the end of the season. Jake, last year we were going through the playoffs and like, okay, who's going to make the Big 12 championship game? And at one point there was a 7-way tie for the Big 12 championship game.
Yeah.
And it was really coming down to like, oh, you remember that time that Baylor lost like that weird game to West Virginia? That matters now. Like,
Yep.
these are the games that you lose that turn into reasons why you can't make the Big 12 the Big 12 title game. So
Yeah.
again, if you would like to watch history happen live, the Big 12 is here for you.
Awesome. Jake, how about you?
Since we just got done talking about Miami and Florida State, it kind of got me thinking, and we mentioned, James Franklin earlier about the coaches that just have like a hard ceiling in college football. And now there's kind of a vacuum in college football without Nick Saban, without Jim Harbaugh. And kind of Ryan Day's always on this constant hot seat. And just, we've already had some big programs fire coaches this year already, only 5 weeks in with Sam Pittman and Arkansas and Oklahoma State and Mike Gundy. And just kind of excited for this coaching carousel. It's going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, AJ's already started his spreadsheet, so the
Ooh, what do you have
CNC
next?
the CNC show is ready to rock and roll.
It's less predictive and more documentary. Right. Like I said,
Oh,
we lost Sam Pittman. By the way, the next day, so they fired Arkansas fired Sam Pittman yesterday. They fired Todd Grantham today. So in case you're wondering what Third and Grantham is up to, he's got a lot of free time on Saturdays now, baby.
that's right.
Yeah.
So if
He
Todd
left
Grantham
today.
is being added to your staff from the athletic department, you might want to put your house up for sale.
Honest to God, like he's now he's the Grim
He's the
Reaper.
Grim Reaper.
The other thing that we have to that we have to deal with here is Bobby Petrino is the head coach of
Yes!
Arkansas again.
Yes! God, the 30 for 30 on that man is just going to be.
They could have done one already.
They could have done two.
He said 30 for 30. No, 60 for 60.
60.
Like there's no way around this. Like if you're I feel like we've lost the lore for this because it happened now like fairly long ago.
Yeah.
That he's now back and everybody goes, oh, Bobby Petrino's head coach of Arkansas. And those of us of a certain internet age demographic are like, how did Bobby Petrino get the Arkansas job again? Because he had this before. And the reason he lost it was not for performance on the field reasons. It was acting performances off the field. And terrible ones at that.
Yep. And that sound you hear from Atlanta is everyone saying, no.
Bobby Petrino didn't last the full season in the NFL. Incredible work.
Yeah.
Him and Urban Meyer. What do they have in common?
I'm glad I wasn't taking a drink when you said that. Hey, can we do a quick just pointing out some FCS matchups? We have number 1 North Dakota State going to number 6 Illinois State.
Ooh.
Did you know Illinois State was number 6? I didn't.
Nope.
Number 2 South Dakota State going to Youngstown State. They're number 18. South Dakota State fresh off of beating Erie County's own Mercyhurst 51-7 at home.
Close.
By the way, shout out to Mercyhurst for their field trip to hell. Because they played South Dakota State, they played Sacramento State, and Youngstown State.
Yeah.
And Montana State.
This is only like their second year up in FCS, too. Because they just joined the NEC. Yeah.
All future members of Conference USA, I'm sure.
Yes. We have Montana State at number 13, Northern Arizona, which means you get Montana State at the Walk-Up Sky Dome with the chainsaws that are cutting trees after Northern Arizona scores touchdowns. Number 16, West Georgia goes to number 21, Austin P.
Let's go P.
Hey, don't sleep on the Govs, man.
Yeah.
You beat Middle at home by 20, which...
And you had to call that game. I'm sorry.
I did. That was... Whew.
So there's your ranked FCS matchups for this week. I don't even know what channels they're on. I'm assuming ESPN Plus. Just assume ESPN Plus for FCS.
Yeah.
There's no Big Sky on the TV, on regular TV. So if you're wondering, like, hey, is there a good game on? Go check the FCS too. They play really good football. They play really fun
Yep.
types of football,
Yep.
and they play in stadiums that are rocking and rolling that look
Yeah.
like gigantic high school games. So
Yeah.
support your local FCS team.
And I'm going to run you through kind of a hodgepodge between FCS Division Three and big boy football here to cover both my crappy and my fandoms. Starting at noon on CBSSN, the network of.
Champions.
AJ was muted. Dang it. Ohio at Ball State. The playoff bound Bobcats. Yes, I'll still try to speak that into existence even in Crappy's absence. Favored on the road by 14.5 in that one.
Chirp, chirp.
Chirp. Yeah. Robert Morris at Merrimack to take to AJ and my alma mater. Noon Eastern on ESPN Plus. Colonials look to bounce back against the 2-3 Warriors. Crappy's employer, McDaniel College at Carnegie Mellon. That's at 3 Eastern on the CMU website. You can watch a live stream there. The Tartans are back in action against the. Okay, this might be up the ranks of mascots. McDaniel College is the Green Terror, not the Terriers. The Green Terror.
Is it a sickness?
I'm currently doing some research here, but they have a mascot. This mascot is a green terror for sure. Let's see. I'm looking to see. I need merch. 2, I need to see what is a green terror. Why is
While you're searching that, I'll run through my last 2 games here because we'll come back to this one. Our 2 big boy fandoms, now number 7 Penn State at UCLA. That game's at 3:30 on CBS. The Knicks get a great get right game. They're favored by 26.5 on the road over a UCLA team that lost to Northwestern last week. And Crappy's fandom Minnesota at number 1 Ohio State. That game's at 7:30 Eastern on NBC. Bucks favored at home by 23.5. AJ Fun Index is only 45.5 on that one.
Row the boat, AJ. Row the boat.
Yeah,
it's actually very hard to row a boat, and that's why there's no points in that game.
Okay, AJ, explain to us what a green terror is.
I started to Google it, and then I realized it was directly on the page staring me in the face. What is a green terror? The Green Terror first appeared in the October 15th, 1923 edition of the Western Maryland Monthly. The article recounts a football game between McDaniel, then known as the Western Maryland College at the time, and Washington and Lee in Lexington, Virginia. Although McDaniel lost by a 19-7 margin, the 11 players fielded that day were called, quote, Green Terrors, end quote. The name has come to represent the spirit of the McDaniel community, both on and off the athletic field. The Green Terror reigns as the symbol of the deep-rooted commitment to excellence and perseverance found on the Hill. And that is your new mascot that you learned about. And if you would like to go find yourself some merch, Google around for it because I haven't found it
yet. Man, sports writers used to have so much sway.
You can still do that. You can, like... Here's the problem. Now it used to be like, what was this weird thing that somebody like a sports writer called you in the newspaper? That's our team mascot now.
Yeah,
that's actually the Youngstown. I think it's Youngstown State. They're called the Penguins because they wore some like black and white uniforms, and they got called Penguins, and they were like, cool, Penguins are cool, and they made that their mascot. Now mascots have like branding guidelines. Yep. And they have like a focus group and committees and votes, and it's way less fun.
Utah Mammoth.
That's actually a cool name, though. I'm with it, but it's
better than Predators.
It's better than Hockey Club.
Hockey Club.
Which is what they.
What do you guys do here? Well, we're in a hockey club professionally.
And so now that we've officially covered 3 sports on this show, I think it's time to to call it a night. Jake, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Yeah,
that was
thank you
a lot
for
of
having
fun.
me.
We will have you back. Bowlapalooza is not that far away, friends. Believe it or not, we're halfway through the season. So
Don't say that.
I
Don't-
know we
don't
don't
say
want the
that.
season to be over.
Don't wish it away.
But we'll make sure Jake makes another appearance with us later this year. And AJ, of course, as always, thank you for everything that you do every week. And to you all, thank you all for listening, for watching, for doing everything that you do to help support the show. We will be back here again next week, hopefully as a full team. But we will see how things go. Enjoy all the football this week, friends, and we will talk to you again next week. Cheers, friends.
Yeah, people, yeah, people.